Our topic today is the mission to eradicate malaria. Malaria is one of the most common vector-borne diseases in the world. It has maintained a threat as one of the most public health challenges of our time. When this disease is brought up, the first thing most individuals think are probably awful mosquito bites, or they recall their most recent media influenced impression of sub-Saharan Africa, the place malaria affects the most. Although these perspectives are not necessarily false in terms of the characteristics of malaria, it is important to dig deeper beyond the surface value traits to understand the disease and how it negatively affects the lives of millions. So, what is malaria? Malaria is a disease that is caused by parasites and is known to have been affecting humans since ancient history. The parasite was not identified, however, until 1880 by Charles Laveran. Mosquito transmission was later proven in 1898 by Ronald Ross. This disease has been, this parasite, Plasmodium falciparum, in particular, is the most common of the four human malaria parasites across much of sub-Saharan Africa. Other three parasites are Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium malariae, and Plasmodium ovale. Statistics of malaria have also been shown to indicate there are problems. It has been calculated that the continent of Africa alone accounts for 90% of burden of disease mortality due to malaria. In particular, children suffer most from the spread of this disease due to underdeveloped immunity. It is clear that malaria continues to be a disease that affects the quality of health of millions in the world. The goal for malaria has always been eradication, but it remains to be a continual struggle. In 1969, eradication of malaria became the premier goal of public health organizations worldwide. However, this initiative has had troubles along the way due to the technical challenges of executing the strategy, specifically in Africa. These challenges are due to social, economic, and environment dynamics. So, what are the challenges that make malaria such a hard disease to eradicate? There are three main ones, even though you could separate them into many. But these factors, I believe, are the most important. The first challenge is the dynamic of climate. The geographic distribution of malaria is dependent a lot on climate. Places where the climate is ideal for Anopheles mosquitoes that transmit malaria parasites are more prone to disease and perpetuate transmission. Anopheles mosquitoes live longer and survive better in locations with warmer temperatures, humid conditions, and higher rainfall. Thus, tropical and subtropical areas are ideal places, namely sub-Saharan Africa. At temperatures below 20 degrees Celsius, the parasite cannot complete its growth in mosquitoes, so disease cannot be transmitted. So this problem of malaria transmission at warmer temperatures could be further compounded by the further effects of climate change. Another issue is funding. There has been a cumulative 31% decrease in national funding compared to what countries expect to get in funding, according to the Global Fund to Fight AIDS, Tuberculosis, and Malaria. Many malaria and eliminated countries have projected national declines in funding. So this is a real issue. And the GFATM, which is the Global Fund to Fight AIDS, Tuberculosis, and Malaria, may need to further align itself with other organizations to further expound upon its resources. Another challenge, and the third challenge, is the increasingly troubling factor of drug resistance. There's been a huge emergence of resistance to antimalarial drugs, namely chloroquine in particular. So there's been some drugs created to replace quinine to better fight the parasite and the disease of malaria. And the adoption of artemisinin and artesunate are two routes that have been taken. But artesunate seems to now be taking the same path that quinine did, which does not bode well for the fight against malaria. So new drugs may be needed. At the end of the day, you always need solutions to these challenges, though. So there are many possible options, but here are some solutions that I believe are crucial going forward when discussing malaria eradication. Increase of research is necessary, especially when dealing with factors of malaria vaccination. In 2016, a 7-year study of malaria vaccine showed protection rates of only 36.3% in young African children and 25.9% in infants. Although this provides some protection, better efficacy is necessary for widespread resistance to parasites. Additionally, research can also be playing a part in improving technology that leads to non-resistance malarial medications. As mentioned earlier, drug resistance is one of the biggest challenges, so new drugs are needed to combat malaria. Additionally, inventive forms of medication can also be implemented to kill mosquitoes rather than just kill the parasite. For example, ivermectin is a drug that is ingested by humans, and when mosquitoes bite the humans, they die as a consequence due to that disease in the bloodstream. The overall effects of this drug are still largely unknown, and more studies are needed to ensure its possible use in the future. However, this is a route to take, and such a drug could play a part in reducing malaria transmission. In conclusion, it is clear that malaria is a burdening disease that has proven to be disastrous for many, especially in sub-Saharan Africa. There are many challenges, however, there is a direct course of action we as people can take to ensure better survival. Common solutions such as mosquito nets and insecticides are helpful, but new solutions are needed and can be perfected through increased research and understanding. As troubling as malaria outcomes may seem, in some cases, the future is indeed bright because technology improves every day, bringing us closer and closer to complete eradication.